And welcome back to LinkedIn Logs. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the jobs podcast for the website cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back. And I am way too hot. Jesus. On this. You mentioned Jesus during a work podcast. Way too hot. I'm way too hot on this day. It is noon. And I did say to myself, I gave myself the goal of doing this show as soon as it hit noon o'clock. And unfortunately, I did not do that. Maverick and I just got back from the dog park, and he did not eat breakfast this morning. Buddy, don't come over here. He did not eat breakfast this morning. I get back from the gym. I take him out, and this happens sometimes. I come back from the gym on during the week. I take him out, and then he doesn't want to eat after he's been taken out. Whether we do a run or walk, or we're just outside for a couple minutes, he just doesn't want to eat for some reason. But I know he's starving, so I put the food in front of him. Doesn't eat, and on days that, like Tuesdays and Thursdays, when I'd cycle after the gym, I pull the bike out to its cycling position in front of the television, and I give him time. I say, buddy, you have 10 minutes before I have to start cycling. All the while, you might hear him coughing in the background because he just scarfed down half his food. So all the while, he's just sniffing the food, doesn't want it. We're not changing flavors. This is the only limited ingredient food that they sell at the dog store. I put a half a can of wet food on there like he wants. That usually gets him to eat. No dice. Put an egg in there, eggshells, bread. He doesn't want any of that stuff. Mix it up, fruits, vegetables, whatever. Doesn't want any of that stuff. And then usually around 10, 11 o'clock. So at that point, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. He's been up since 4 with me. He doesn't want to eat. And then usually by 10, 11, he usually does want to eat. We went to the dog park today for the first time in several weeks. And he played around for about an hour and a half. And then I came home and I said, you have to be hungry. I saw you running around. Don't look at me. You have to be hungry. I saw you running around. She's gonna eat all your food, buddy. And I put the food down 10 minutes ago. It's 12:11. I put the food down 10 minutes ago. He eats, I don't know. I don't even know how much he ate, but he didn't eat all of it because he came over here and he laid down. If your animal has anxiety, I feel you. I feel you. Welcome back in episode 84. We're live streaming. We're talking about jobs. We're talking about this. We're talking about that. Last week, what happened last week? Last week, I was reached out to from an agency. What is their name? Creative Circle. Creative Circle is an agency that represents people when it comes to jobs and contracts and things of that nature. Now, they only do contracts. But from what I understand, they only do contracts. I've known this agency, this company, for several years, and they do mainly creative jobs. They represent you when it comes to getting a job with, if you are a graphic designer or some type of producer, this or that, but it's usually a creative job. They represent you. They try to get you the most money when it comes to a contract. Let's say this is a made-up number, but I've known them for the past decade. But let's say that I've applied via this company to, again, made-up number, 12 to 20 jobs. Let's just say it's one of those, and it has really slowed down in the past couple of years. I mean, like, out of the job from last week that I applied to, and then maybe like 7 months ago, I applied to something else via Creative Circle. So Creative Circle is an agency. They represent you to get high-paying jobs in creative places. With creative companies. Anyway, with companies that are creative focused, not creative focused, creative focused. He's coughing up a storm because now he just ate down half his food. And he guzzled down so much water. All right. So again, for the past 10-ish years, they used to advertise a lot of jobs, and they also used to reach out a lot to where I could be like, no, that job doesn't fit me, or this and that, whatever. And then it slowed down. Last week, Wednesday or Thursday, somebody reached out to me and said, hey, we have this position that is a lot similar to two QC jobs that I've done before, quality control jobs. One was at Scripps, where I literally was quality control for shows and movies that they acquired or their originals. And then for Cartoon Network was like a producing job that also dealt with some quality stuff. But it was this job that this person reached out to me for was more in line with the Cartoon Network one. I wrote, they asked me for, this is something that I thought was odd. Give me 6 bullet points. Give me a couple of bullet points. They didn't say 6. Give me a couple of bullet points why you would be, I'm looking at my email really quick. Hey, Chad. A new opportunity is available that seems to align with your skills and experience. Here are the details. I have not updated my Creative Circle account since 2023, mostly because I was getting nothing from it. They reached out to me, motion graphics producer, fully remote, duration 12 weeks, pay range, decent. I'll tell you right now, it's about 42 better than what I'm making. You can find the full listing here. I clicked through. The job description is pasted below. My signature for your convenience. If it piques your interest, please apply directly through the link provided. Make sure you answer any questions asked as part of the application. You can apply to this email with your latest resume and a few bullet points outlining why you're a good fit. So, if not, stay tuned for more opportunities. You can always update your profile and browse more openings in our candidate portal here. Candidate portal, again, is something that doesn't really work all the time. Or it doesn't have jobs that really fit me. It was a system-generated email, and the person says, I cannot guarantee a personal response to every question or application. Then they sent along, below the signature, everything that was in the full job description link, which includes, it doesn't include the client's name, which I learned, it's a great client. Wonderful. Somebody I would love to continue. Anyone I would continue love to working with. Anyone I would continue love to working with. And the I just don't even know what I'm saying anymore. And it gave all the details. It gave all the responsibilities. It gave all the requirements. Wonderful. Okay. I respond, hello, blank. I've applied, because I did apply. I went to the thing and applied, and I gave them my new resume, which as soon as I sent it, I realized that it was I have like 3 versions of the resume. One was they're both right, but one is misaligned. Well, like one has my name and my title misaligned, but whatever. As soon as I sent it, I realized that. Don't give a shit. All right. She emails me back the next day. She emails me back the next day. I sent it on Thursday. She emailed me back on Friday morning. This role is with so-and-so. It's fully remote, 3 months to start, but likely to be extended, 35 to 40 hours a week. Help keep the motion projects moving and grooving. Great. That's how I know this person's real, because they just wrote to me exactly what I needed to know. If it's still interesting, please send me some bullet points and I will call you submit. Boom. I forgot about the bullet points part. So within 10 minutes, I sent her bullet points, and then she called, and then she has my resume, which has my phone number on it. She called me. She was like, this is great. This was wonderful. Thank you so much for responding so quickly, which is like, even in itself, in and of itself, that was just exactly what I needed. It was just like a little bit of confidence boost because I'll tell you right now, it blows not getting any feedback from anybody. So she went ahead and handled everything on her end, and then what Creative Circle did was they did something that I did not like, which is, this is brand new because again I've not dealt with them in 2 years. She said, we're going to need you to just fill out an I-9. And I was like, what? Do I have the job? It's just something that they do now. You fill out the I-9 ahead of time, I guess. I don't know. I assume it's to help you get the job. When they say, if they say, hey, you're hired, then boom, you're in, whatever. And then, so we fill out I fill out the I-9, and then I also had to get I had to get a verifier, a quote unquote verifier, which I had to end up using my sister, who luckily lives within the city limits. She was very close to me. So we had to go get that. I had to just like go to her house, and she also received an email and application link, and just had to fill out some stuff like is my driver's license real? What was the driver's license number? And then my passport number, and then all that. And then I reached out to Creative Circle. It's like, okay, we did all this stuff, and they said, great. we'll follow up on next steps. So we're just waiting to hear back from that. Hopefully we hear some good news that is truly within the lab, besides Charter screwing me over, Spectrum News screwing me over. That's a whole thing. Also, I was watching, I watch the news every night. We know this. I watch PBS NewsHour. I try not to watch anything else because, quite frankly, everybody else sucks. But I was watching, what was I watching? I was watching KIF on Disney Plus yesterday. I was watching KIF. I know somebody who is like best friends with Kimiko Glenn. So ever since I've found that out, I've been like, what's Kimiko like? Anyway, I watch KIF. Kimiko is an actress, and she's on the show KIF. She leads the show KIF. I was watching KIF, and then at 6 p.m., while I was cooking dinner, I turned on PBS NewsHour. When I turned on YouTube TV, I saw on CBS Atlanta, again, if you haven't been paying attention, if you're not from Atlanta, CBS News took over the CBS affiliate for Atlanta. CBS affiliate broke off and started its own broadcast channel in the Atlanta area. I assume in all of Georgia as well, but in the Atlanta area for at least for the most part. And so CBS News and CBS itself runs their version of Atlanta affiliate, while the Atlanta affiliate itself, WANF, Atlanta News First, runs its own channel. Okay. So with that, on broadcasting, there's a rule that if you're one of the broadcasters, you have to have local news. So the CBS affiliate, the CBS News, started an Atlanta-based CBS News Atlanta, I think that's what it's called, and they were hiring for positions. Guess who did not get a job? And I turn on YouTube TV. It turns on the last thing you were watching. I guess I was watching CBS Mornings at that point. It turns on the last thing you're watching, and I saw this. For luck's sake, it was the first episode. It is the first episode. This week is the first week. So yesterday, Monday, September 15th, was the first episode, and I watched a little bit of it. And they're doing this thing where everything, they have a dynamic newsroom, I guess, and it's just a giant room that's a giant green screen, not a giant room. It's a big green screened area so that you can walk over a map, and it looks like there's big windows behind you and like the Atlanta skyline or some shit like that. But that's what they are. And the news anchor for that evening, they should not be walking around with iPads. If you are going to be hosting a show standing up, don't hold an iPad in your hand. Don't this is not going to help your case. Put it down, read the prompter, and don't have anything in your hands. If anything, a pen, but you don't need anything in your hands. It's so distracting because the woman, the young lady, and God bless her, she had this big like militarized iPad with like a hand covering on it, which was so distracting. Anyway, they the first story that they tossed to was to a local anchor for their credit, a local reporter for their credit, and dadgummit, if it wasn't an actor I know, well, I know personally, but an actor I've seen in particularly It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Brian Unger, he's the lawyer, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which was crazy to see. And then I looked up his resume. He used to work at CBS News in New York as a producer before he became an actor, which was bonkers to learn. But now he lives, well, not now, but he lives in North Georgia with his husband, and they have a farm, which is very cool. But also, they took a job from a regular person like me. And then I went to CBSNews.com, and they had a story about this new Atlanta affiliate, how it's kickstarting the CBS News affiliates. It's a test market. We're a test market in Atlanta, and they're going to be doing this around the nation, which is not good because we're talking about messing up local news. They're around the nation. Like, imagine if every CBS affiliate did this, and then all the other ones, thankfully the WANF had money, or they have enough chutzpah to go and take over Peachtree TV. And also there was a channel to take over. Imagine the places that, get booted out, that aren't able to do the same thing. I view it in the same vein as defunding NPR and PBS. And then what happens to, the little stations in Alaska or in rural United States that's the only news stream that they get. So what happens when you take away a source of news for people? Yeah, that could go to the ABC affiliate or the Fox affiliate, the Fox Broadcasting affiliate, or the NBC affiliate. But then that's just one less. And then even still, the Sinclair runs a bunch of Fox affiliate ones, and they're not good. And Tegna runs a lot of NBC affiliates, and they're not good. So, yeah, I said it. I dare you. Hire me and see what happens. Your views will go up so high. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, let's get on to this first story. This happened last week, seemingly out of nowhere. But unfortunately, this is where we live. This is the time in which we live, and we are dealing with the repercussions of a government that does not care about monopolies or anything. This comes from the Wall Street Journal, written by Jessica Tunkel. Paramount Skydance prepares Ellison-backed bid for Warner Bros. Discovery. The short of it is that Paramount Skydance, which has not officially merged, but they have the okay to do so, is reportedly preparing an all my thing is not my archive thing is not opening up, so I have to do this a different way. Is preparing an all cash bid for Warner Brothers in order to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. Now you'll remember Warner Brothers Discovery is planning on splitting up sometime in April, where David Zaslav and all of his benevolence will be running the moneymaker part of Warner Brothers, which includes the movie studios and the streaming portions, and then some poor sap will be running the cable networks. The things that and I think the gaming division, the stuff that will not be making money whatsoever any point in the near future. The important part of the other important part of this is to understand that this is a cash bid, mostly because, for one reason is that the Ellison family is backing this entire thing. If you don't know who the Ellison family is, they are huge players when it comes to American media, I guess. I'm having a hell of a time pulling up. There we go. Pulling up a story that relates to this, or pulling up the story that I linked. I don't know what's going on with Wall Street Journal. Anyway, so David Ellison is currently going to be the person in charge of Paramount Skydance. He is the boss at Skydance. And again, they closed their takeover of Paramount just a month ago. We will see all the layoffs happen. I guarantee by October we'll start seeing a bunch of layoffs happen, and come Christmas time, Paramount will be gutted. I don't see it in the same way that Disney let go of a lot of people when they bought 20th Century. We will see a lot of those same numbers. I think it was like 9,000 or so. We'll see a lot of those numbers more so. I mean, they did a bunch of layoffs. Paramount's been doing layoffs for the past couple of years, and we're just going to. It'll be interesting to see what that looks like after that. Again, no formal offer has been submitted. Talks could always fall through, but this would make Paramount Skydance as big as Disney and Amazon when it comes to marketing and advertising and streaming and all that stuff. Anyway, now let's go to this next story. This comes from Reuters, written by Don, and I knew this was going to happen, Chmielewski. David Ellison's race to rebuild Paramount's mountain of content. What's also important to note is that Larry Ellison, David's dad, will also be backing this because he's a billionaire, I believe. I believe that is the case. I don't know why this website is not popping up. I need this website to pop up because it's got some information. Now, again, this is just an idea, and it hasn't even been something that is what could actually happen. David Ellison recently also bought exclusive streaming rights for Ultimate Fighting Championship beginning next year for $7.7 billion. Wow. The deal was built around an earlier $1.5 billion agreement with South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone for global streaming rights for their adult animated series, signaling Ellison's willingness and ability to pay top dollar for premium content across multiple genres. He's 42? Jesus. But also his dad gave him a leg up. Paramount's new chief executive is preparing a bid to acquire WBD. The company is on the verge of breaking up, and as its television business declines, Ellison intends to go bigger, creating a media colossus combining Paramount's library of classics like The Godfather and Star Trek with Warner Bros.' own extensive collection. Again, this is going to create... Imagine putting CNN and CBS News together with CNN's almost 24-hour operation, and CBS News' CBS. I guess their online portfolio. It'll make a giant what Reuters and what a lot of other people are saying, conservative media powerhouse. Which would put it on the same size as Rupert Murdoch's own Fox News. If you'll recall, David Zaslav, with the help of now CEO Mark Thompson of CNN, archive.ph, that is the website I go to. They intentionally wanted CNN commentators and hosts to, in quotes, attack both sides, which means they want less negative stories about Trump, or even more objectivity about Trump. And where I think, nobody was really falling to either side, but now they have Scott Jennings on CNN pitching a tent every time something happens. Is that his name, Scott Jennings? I will feel bad if that is not his name. Let me see images. Yeah, this guy. He's a fucking turd. So they want something, or if that news organization, the CNN and CBS News, would become huge, and it would also just automatically, and it would also, I don't know, be redundant, be a, I don't necessarily think it. I know it. I would say that CNN right now is like middle right, whereas before it was, from my viewpoint, straight up middle. But now I would say it's now middle right because of Mark Thompson and David Zaslav's political leanings themselves, and to see it go in that direction would be just very unfortunate, because there's so many smart people over there who can and will have good shows going forward, but to put it in the light of Paramount, Skydance, Warner Bros. And also, you just be erasing, if Paramount, Skydance bought Warner Brothers Discovery, the Warner Brothers brand would just be gone. And it's already been decimated post this AT&T buyout, which was 10 years ago at some point, or shorter or longer. I don't know. But when AT&T bought it, they had no business getting into the television bit, the entertainment business. But now with Warner Bros, with Discovery owning Warner Bros, like even though Discovery is the company that bought Warner Brothers, the name Warner Brothers still holds weight. Why did HBO Go and Now and all that turn into HBO Max, and then it turned into Max and then turned back into HBO Max? Because HBO still holds the name. People aren't scrounging for Paramount Plus. People aren't going, I have to watch Star Trek Discovery or Star Trek Strange New Worlds on Paramount Plus. No, people just know the Star Trek name. And lo and behold, all of that happens to live on Paramount Plus. Landman is on Paramount Plus, but what a dumb fucking name anyway. But nobody is, ripping apart their lives to see Survivor on Paramount Plus. Whereas, HBO even holds a bigger name than all of Paramount Plus. HBO Max now has a new show called Task with Mark Ruffalo. They've got Hacks, which won a bunch of Emmys that it should not have won at the at the Emmys. There are better shows. I don't like Hacks. There are better shows out there. And I'll say that to Paul W. Downs Face and Lucia Andinalo and Hannah, what's her name, and the one lady. I'll say it. Again, this would become a monopoly, an unnecessary monopoly, which does not need to exist. Hence the word unnecessary. All right, let's move on to the final story. This comes from the New York Times. This is something I saw before I went to the dog park. So this is a brand spanking new, baby. This comes from Noam Scheiber over at the New York Times. The newest face of long-term unemployment, the college educated. For years, only a small portion of people experiencing long spells of joblessness were college grads. That's graduates. That's starting to change. When we were growing up, even in my grow up before that, what was it? Generations before me, the idea was you graduate high school, you go to college, you get a job, you live your life. That has become increasingly more difficult because of the changing technologies in the world. I mean, there's just so many different variables within reasons why people can't land jobs. And now, for a long time, it was the generation below me was people were going, maybe I don't want to accrue all that debt, so I don't go to college and I make my own way. Well, those people are struggling. People graduating are now struggling even worse. And as you'll see here, there's people like Sean Whitmire, who, like me, he's 37. He's been unemployed for a year and a half. I'm 23, buddy. He's been so eager to earn income that he has applied for positions befitting an intern, only to be told he was overqualified. This is a quote from him. "I can't even work at the little board game store down the street." And it's very true. These people like me, not these people in my situation, we have all this experience. We've done other jobs for a longer period of time. And then, boom, we hit that one unemployment streak, and it just keeps going. That's what a streak is. When the federal government released its August unemployment numbers on September 5th, the overall unemployment rate was still relatively low at just over 4%. But underneath was a concerning statistic. The portion of unemployed people who have been out of work for more than 6 months, which is considered long-term, rose to its highest scare in over 3 years to nearly 26%. Obviously, something like this is very concerning, especially to the job market people whose jobs it is to monitor these increases. An economist at the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond alluded to a steady worsening of the long-term unemployment rate. Economists at Goldman Sachs recently expressed concern that a collapse in the number of job openings, quote, risks locking out those who are already unemployed. Correct. The longer that people like me are unemployed, the less of a chance that we have at getting any type of employment in the future. That's just how it happens. Nobody trust me. There's not one place that I applied to that looked at my resume and said 2023. What's wrong with him? And didn't move on. Trust me. But just as surprising as the rise in long-term unemployment is the subset of workers who are increasingly driving it, the college educated. The fraction of long-term unemployed people with a college degree has grown from about 1/5 a decade ago to 1/3 today, according to government data compiled by Matthew Notowadigo and Jingshu Huang at the University of Chicago. The problem has worsened over the past year or two after easing temporarily. Then they show a little graph. Maybe I can bring that up on the. If you're watching the video, you're going to see me pull this up. No, you don't get to see my email address. There you go. If you're watching the video, you can see the graph. More of the college educated are unemployed longer. The rise of long-term unemployed workers with college degrees has been steadily rising. You'll see that in 2000, the numbers were in the 20th percent range, matched up with people with some college, 40% high school graduates unemployed in 2000. But now everything is kind of on par. High school graduates and college graduates are about the same at roughly 34% in 2025. Cool, look at that. The way I was doing that. The economists cite a number of reasons for the trend. There are simply more college graduates today than there were 10 years ago. That's very true. And the job market for people without college degrees has improved, reducing their share of long-term unemployed. What jobs can you get when you're unemployed? Let me Google that. Jobs you can get, not unemployed, but with no college degree. With no college degree. Would that be trade school stuff? Let's see. There's a Reddit page for this. Government jobs, air traffic control. Okay, so you can get a lot of jobs without 40. Here, Indeed has this 40 jobs you can get without a college degree. Data entry clerk, marketing representative, administrative assistant, appliance technician, copywriter, diver, coder, electrician. What's a diver? Oh, cool. Nice. It is exactly what you think. It's diving. Carpenter. Jesus was a carpenter. Postal service mail carrier. I was going to do a little tangent about Jesus, but so many good jokes just in my head. But employers also appear to have less need for college-educated workers driven by technological change, automation, and, most recently, President Trump's cut to federal workers and funding, which have disproportionately affected the college-educated. Any bout of unemployment can be traumatic, but the psychological and financial toll on long-term joblessness tends to be especially serious. More than 200 people responded to New York Times questionnaire about being unemployed for longer than 6 months, and many mentioned depression or anxiety, and few alluded to thoughts of suicide. Hey, I'll tell you this right now. If I could go out into this world and just do anything bad and I would get paid for it, I'll do it in a fucking heartbeat. You kidding me? You know The Running Man? The movie Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, now to be remade with Glenn Powell. The safest white man in Hollywood. Then he why is Glenn Powell in everything? There's plenty of people of color that could be. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Running Man. I would participate in a Running Man. I would kill people in competition just to get money. That's what that movie's about. There's a lot of dancing in it too in the Schwarzenegger one. Schwarzenegger one's great. It is fantastic. I love it so much. I think it's a wonderful movie. But also they had to wear those. If you remember at the beginning of the movie, he and a bunch of other slaves, I guess, were trying to escape from working in the mines, I guess. And they had those giant collars around their necks, and if you left the perimeter, then your head would explode. I would participate in a Running Man. I would. Oh my gosh, I don't even care. I will deal with the implications of that later. If I could, again, I understand it's a sport. We have to kill people. I would just do it. And if it meant I would make money in the end, I'd just do it. Employers' need for college-educated workers appears to have slowed during the past decade or two, according to several studies by economists. Even before ChatGPT was released, applications like accounting software and earlier forms of artificial intelligence used in fields like finance or merchandise planning rendered some skilled workers obsolete. Data from Indeed, the job-seeking platform, shows that the portion of job advertisements requiring the college degree has dropped to 6% since 2019. Last night, I was watching Freaky Tales, which is a movie. What are you doing? Hey, no bad. Which is a movie that has a bunch of. What is it? It's an anthology movie. It's a movie with a bunch of anthology short stories in it. And Pedro Pascal stars in one of them, along with Tom Hanks. He shows up for a second. But Pedro Pascal stars in one, and they all take place in like 1984. And Pedro Pascal's in the middle of a police station. And it's 1984. There's no computers. And all the police officers have to type up their reports on typewriters, much like the one that's right behind me right here. And as that scene was playing out, no one touched the typewriter, but I just saw it and I went, man, they have to type up all their work on typewriters. Now, they're toying with using AI to fill those in, which has its own problems. But whatever. I just thought about yesterday, like somebody just like doop 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 made a mistake, and then do you start over? Do you use the whiteout? Do those typewriters even have whiteout functions? When I was growing up, we didn't have a computer until late middle school. And and trust me, computers were around. We just didn't get one. But I remember typing up a bunch of papers on a typewriter, and we had like 2 typewriters, and I believe one of them had a whiteout function, not an erase function, not necessarily like the whiteout, like the rubbing of the whiteout. But I remember being able to like go back and then like type over it, and you can make like a P look like an R or something like that. I don't know. But this is where we are. college educated people are struggling to get jobs, are struggling to keep jobs, are struggling to land jobs after the fact. So where does that leave us? Where does that leave people who need to, somebody is playing with something they should not be playing with. Where does that leave people who are, what happens after this? The answer is, I don't know. I think maybe I'll put my analyst hat on. You need people to train these AI tools. You can't just develop a tool. It's 2025. The tools only were created, just they're still nascent. They're still kind of babies. You need people to train them. So why not, just use people if you have to have them, because you can't just say stop and people are going to stop. Why not just, have people monitor them? Why just have people just look over them, make sure they're doing the jobs correctly, as opposed to eschewing people who are the ones who did the jobs correct before correctly. It's what are the numbers that, you're willing to go through when it comes to having an AI tool as opposed to a person? People make mistakes, but also AI tools make mistakes. We can't just assume they're going to do things correctly because you allow them to do the job. I can't just say, hey, ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot or Google Gemini, fix this paper for me or write this paper for me. Or even, hey, this is what I did this yesterday because I wanted to see what ChatGPT would say, but I had my workout for this morning prepared, and I said, what do you think of this workout I'm doing? I took a screenshot of the app that houses my workouts and showed it all the shit I did. So I looked at it and I said, hey, what do you think of this? Please note that I'm doing a heavy week. I'm focusing on snatches tomorrow. How does my warm up look? And it just assumed that because I had six different sets of exercises on there, six different six different sets of like 2 or 3, sometimes 4 exercises on there. It was like, hey, that's way too much. That's way too long. Which, fine, sure, I understand. But it was like, but then it also just assumed everything was going to be heavy. And then we have to correct these things. Hey, I'm not doing heavy work with this and this and this and this. I'm just doing heavy work on these 2 things, these 2 or 3 things. What I'm saying is it just takes a lot of correction, and we can't just assume that the computers are going to get it right and get it right on the first time or even the second time. Also, who are you going to talk to when you're at work? All right, I'm done. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talking. If you want to see a video version of the show, I'm just rushing through things now. I'm hungry. It's 12:51. I haven't eaten since 9. And before that, 7. If you want to see a video version of this show, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. We can see a video version of the other podcasts. LinkedIn Logs, Late Night Lately, which is the late night show, and the Constitutionals, which is the entertainment business news show. Also on youtube.com, subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Also on youtube.com/cpluscomedy, you can see me talk to famous people under the interviews. Go do that. Follow us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, and Blue Sky at cpluscomedy. Me at Chad Blackwhite. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.